So, boss, the couch Pundies. Um, it's the
I
review
was
of the
good,
Man
man. I was
City
good.
Liverpool game. It's supposed to be a full on panel, but some people cut hands, so we don't know what's up. What's up, Shush?
I was good, man. It's funny that the Liverpool and the City guy are not here. But hopefully they'll join us later. I doubt this. I'm sure the City guy's itching to join us. I'm
Yeah.
not too sure about the Liverpool guy, but before you hit that show, man, just play that clip. Play that clip you got there on the side, man.
As I play the clip.
Just to start it up on the right note, man. Play that clip, man. Play that clip, man. Let the people see.
Will
Let the
kill you
people see what.
a real death. You will die because of football.
Let's just let's just do it one more time.
Football can kill you. Will kill you a real death. You will die because of football.
And that's how we start the
Die
show,
because of
man.
football, man. No cap at all, man. No cap. I mean, football is quite, especially to people that really love the sport, that really love the sport, love their teams. It's a tough thing, man. It's a really tough thing. That's no cap from my man's over there. But anyway, man, getting into the show, man. We really wanted to talk about the Liverpool Man City match, but I think we're gonna hold on just a little bit before we get to that one. Just hopefully the gents will join us in about 10, 15 minutes, and then we can jump onto that one. So we'll just talk about the other matches, man. Obviously, one of the talking points is Everton. The way they came back um, to almost kill us a real death. um, and the I think the resurgence of Chelsea, and just I think I want to also speak about the officiating in English football at the moment.
Yeah,
It's just been, yeah, man, it's just been so,
terrible.
yeah, it's been terrible. But like they consistently so bad, you don't even know, man, how things are gonna go. But anyway, Everton, Man United, man. I'm gonna let you have a crack, man. It just depresses me.
What happened? Let me ask you, what happened? What? I mean, like, you guys play in like pockets. I have no idea whether you lose concentration or what. But
I think
what do you attribute it to?
I think the biggest thing, and I think I've said this on the show countless times, is that we don't have a solid defense pairing. Do you understand? These guys are good individually on days. You understand? And sometimes they just both just terrible. And it was another example of that. It was another example of that where they get caught out of position. Because I don't know if they do zonal. I think they do zonal marking because it doesn't make sense
Mm,
how people are always left in the box. So they do zonal marking and they're not quick enough for zonal marking. I think they should just do man marking. They get caught out of position. And De Gea had a bad game, which is something that's happening a lot, which is obviously a cause of concern. But I think before we even go after the goalkeeper, we need to look at our defense, man. Our defense is terrible. Do you understand? You can't expect a keeper to perform at a high level if he's always exposed.
yeah.
So De Gea might get a bit of stick for this. I think the first goal, I'd say it's on De Gea, but then again, if you look at where Decore is standing, he's again unmarked in the box. Do you understand? Like, how do
That's
these
the
things happen?
thing.
Why is there always, yeah, why is there always a person that's unmarked in the box? Yes, De Gea should have held it. Yes, he should have parried it away. You know what I mean? We could sum it up in 15 different scenarios where De Gea handles it better. But then again, a person was left unmarked in the box. Again, where were our two seat centre backs? Do you understand? I mean, the
You
guys
know, you know,
broke free.
it goes back to that thing that defense is a five-man team. It's not just the goalkeeper. So
Yeah, man.
every goal you need to attribute it to those five guys. The four guys at the back and the keeper. It can't just be like, well, you should have saved it. Well, he shouldn't have shot.
You don't exactly because Paolo Maldini always said, man, if I have to make a tackle or I have to run after a player or allow him to shoot, I've already failed at my job because that's your
Yeah,
job. Your job is to stop these guys from getting a crack at the keeper. Do you understand? The keeper should be the last line of defense. But then it seems like De Gea gets exposed too many times. He does make mistakes. I'm not gonna sit here and protect him and say that he is, De Gea 2014, 2015 season. He's not, and we're gonna have to accept it. That he won't be at that level. That he was at that time. But he's been a decent enough goalkeeper for us, I think. And with Henderson on the bench, I think we'll be fine in that department. But there is no use in us saying that we want to take De Gea out, bring Henderson in, only for him to have those guys in front of him. He's just going to be just as bad. Do you understand? Because if
But
you
but
first
but but
goal,
now, but now my question is, yeah, you've got Henderson on the bench, but I don't see you guys dropping De Gea for him. I think the quality is just a little bit too much. But also now De Gea is having like a bad run for a couple of years now. Don't you think you guys should start looking for somebody?
no, definitely not. I honestly absolutely don't think. I think if we ever gonna get a goalkeeper, they should let Henderson be the goalkeeper. Um, at this point, and you know why? I'm saying that at this point, the De Gea is having a bad spell, so it can't get any worse. Do you understand what I'm saying? But my thing is, even if we bring the kid on with the defense that we have, it won't matter. First goal, Decoder was left unmarked. Second goal, how do you let James Rodriguez? How do you leave him unmarked in a box and let him take a shot? What do you think is going to happen? You can't
Yeah.
let James Rodriguez alone in the box and let him take a shot on his right foot. What do you think is going to happen? Once again, he was left unmarked. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter who's in. Even if my guy at this point, we could go fetch All Black. Do you understand? We could go fetch that guy, but he still wouldn't be able to keep 15 clean sheets with the defense that we have. It's terrible, my guy. We get caught sleeping most of the time. I don't know if and one thing I've noticed is that the pairing between Lindelof and Maguire doesn't it works for 3 matches and convinces everybody, and then it stinks for the other two. Do you understand? So it's
Mm.
always like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, which means we only make progress with 1 step every time. So the progress is not enough. I don't understand why Eric Bailly isn't getting run out enough. We could always chalk it up that he's fragile and whatnot, but you can't leave the guy out for 3 matches in a row because he's fragile. It doesn't make sense. Do you understand? We've always looked more solid when he's in defense. We've always looked more
Yeah.
solid because he's more decisive. Do you understand? He's more decisive. He's more aggressive. He's got pace. Do you understand? He's good on the ball too. Maguire and Lindelof like running forward with the ball, and they've got zero ability to run with the ball. And Maguire does this a lot. He looks so
Do,
clumsy,
do you
running
think? Do
forward
you
with the
think?
ball.
Do you think the 9-0? Because Maguire was like playing playmaker in the game. He was so far forward. Did you think like he loses it sometimes? Because got this. I'm not gonna say he's a ball player, but for an English bloke, he's got some ball nyana in there, and I think that
No,
like gets into his head that you know what, I'm a baller, so he tends to want to just go forward like Ramos or whatever he thinks he is.
listen, the guy can pick out a pass. I'm not gonna deny him that. Do you know what I'm saying? He
Mm.
can pick out a pass, especially a long ball. He can pick out a pass. He's got the confidence, but his confidence and his ability don't match. And I think that's the biggest problem. He needs to honestly keep things simple. You're right. He can play the ball, but he does stuff that are too complicated for his ability. He wants to play like Pogba. You won't, Maguire, you don't have that ability because he wants to close the ball, do turns, but he's too slow for that. Do you understand? And
Mm.
even if he looks at people like Pogba who does it slow. Pogba, the way he does it slow, but the way he does it, you see that something else is about to happen. Do you understand? With Maguire, you know he's turning around. He's too slow for that. So if he keeps things simple, and that's the biggest problem I have with Harry Maguire. He never keeps things simple. He's always trying to put himself in a difficult situation, which he always fails in. So I think that's why that's why I've always loved Eric Bailly in that team because he makes defending look so seamless. You understand? Because he's such a ball player. He's like that guy on the ball, bro. You could swear he should be in the middle field. You understand? That's how much of a ball player he is, and he's got pace, and he's strong, and he makes decisive decisions, which Lindelof and Maguire are afraid to make. they're afraid to take players on when a player's coming. They always backing off. You understand? And which puts them in a difficult situation because by the time if I hold a skill move and you running backwards facing me, my guy, it's over. It's curtains. You know what I
It's
mean?
over, yeah.
It's us, Boateng. He looked at Messi straight in the eyes and then it was game over. Do you understand? You never do that. Take him on. Make him. His job is to go past you. Do you understand? That's his job. Because if I'm standing here and you're standing there, you have to come to me to score. Do you understand? It doesn't work any other way. But I think that pairing is a huge, huge, huge problem for us. So, and the concentration thing, you are absolutely right. I think the guys they're in a place whereby they don't believe they can win the league, and as much as they want to, I think psychologically they don't believe they can. Do you understand? A lot of
Yeah.
these things are self-sabotage. It's self-sabotage. I mean,
Because to be quite honest, it's like you can't be 2-0 up and then just in a space of 10 minutes when you're supposed to really manage the game. You know it's second half. They're gonna throw the kitchen sink at you. You're supposed to really say, guys, first 10, 15 minutes, let's kill their pace. Let's knock it around. Let's hit them on the counters. Let's
you
punish
understand what
them
I'm
for
saying?
every
Let's
mistake.
hold the ball.
Let's punish them for every mistake they make. And it's like that composure, that BMT was not there for them to say, okay, guys,
It was
we got a
not there, bro.
comfortable lead. Let's just manage the game now.
And hit them on the counter because they have to come to us. Instead, we were caught on the counter. How do we get caught on the counter winning a match, man? Like such things annoys me. Do you understand? How do we get caught on the counter? We are winning the match 2-0.
That's why watching that game, I felt the Southampton win kind of like got into their heads as if like, you know what, we 2-0 down, now let's just run with this. And it wasn't necessary. And I mean,
It was not
Southampton
necessary, man.
compared to an Everton coached by Ancelotti, you can't want to think of them in the same mentality. One's not going to buckle. And even the quality of players from Everton, they're not going to buckle.
My
so you
man,
have
they've got
to.
Richarlison, they've got Calvert-Lewin up front. Those guys are pacey, they fast, and they've got James Rodriguez feeding them the ball. And all Decore did was put pressure on our midfield. He just pushed up, and that was that. It was curtains. Do you understand? So for me, there's the mentality-wise, a lot needs to change in that team. They need to honestly believe that they are worthy of challenging for the league. Do you understand? Mentality-wise, there's a lot of problem. And Ole needs to start being gutsy, bro. Like you can't stop this thing of trying to throw a fifth defender in. Don't do that because I always say that if you put a fifth defender in a side, last 15 whatever, you're inviting pressure. Do you understand? Because now you've removed a ball player, a person who can hold on to the ball, and you've put somebody who's supposed to be behind the ball. That's inviting pressure. Do you understand? And I immediately, as he put Twanzebe on, I was like, this is a terrible idea. You are inviting pressure. Don't invite pressure. Put in Matic. If you wanna be defensive, put in Matic. You can't put in a fifth defender, bro. That is a terrible idea. Terrible idea.
Because
now you're saying to them,
play, and you're saying, come at me.
Yes, you are saying to them, play the ball however the hell you want in the midfield. We'll sit at the back. Do you understand? And immediately after he came on, that boy made it was an unnecessary tackle. Do you understand? It was an unnecessary because he's a defender.
You know, that's something that I struggle with some of these coaches. If you want to kill a game, I don't understand putting in a defender at any point. If you want to kill a game, you have to pick the midfield. You'd rather have like guys in the midfield.
That's the thing.
That's where the penetration
I
is going to come from.
Oh, I was so irritated. You don't understand. As soon as I saw Twanzebi's number going up, I was so irritated. I'm like, my guy, you can't say to them, come at us. You literally went there. You taking out an attacking player. You go out and take Mason Greenwood and you put in a defender. What does that say to them? That says to them that, you know what? They've got less people playing in the middle. They're going to sit back. Let's go for them. Put in Matic, bro. Put in Matic.
For me, even the mentality, I mean, this is another underrated thing of football that seems to be happening when you watch it from the outside, is that some of the managers don't understand the mental aspect of or let me say mental, the psychological aspect of substitution. Yes, maybe hey, you're putting in a defender, but what message are you sending through to Everton, who are one goal down and they're trying to come down for you?
Mm.
You're literally saying it literally says to an attacking team, are they scared now, which means they're trying to defend, so which means they're feeling
Yes,
the
that's
pressure. And it
do you
motivates
understand,
them
bro?
to say,
It
let's throw the
motivates them
kitchen
to push.
sink.
Yes, let's go because now they're buckling. Do you understand? You need to put people that are gonna come in and do you understand and hold the ball. And Matic has got that strength. He comes in, and I feel that's where Pogba was sorely missed because we had no movement in the midfield. There was nobody that actually held the ball and calmed the game down. Do you understand? Because a lot of the times the guys would want to spam counters, 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 counters. You know what I mean? That's what the
Yeah.
guys were doing. They were spamming counters, counters. There was nobody to actually hold the ball, slow the game down. And that's what you need to do in those instances. You slow the game down. You put in a Matic and do you understand what I'm saying? It's fine. Take out a striker.
It,
You put in a
you know,
defensive midfielder.
it,
Say to
it,
him,
it,
my guy.
it's something also I haven't seen a lot happen in the EPL. You're winning 1-0, and like I don't know if it's this whole knowledge, is this whole notion that it's the EPL, yeah, it's throw the kitchen sink the whole time. But if you watch like other leagues, the team's winning 1-0 and they under the cosh, you would get the unnecessary fouls, you will get them falling all over the place, trying to eat time. You'll get the one striker running to the corner and then passing it back.
Mm,
You'll get those things to frustrate the other team because they're definitely looking for the ball. And obviously they're going to be a bit more aggressive because they want the ball so they can go attack. And when they
mm,
become that aggressive, you'd fall on the ground, you'd milk it, and it's nothing. Not to say you're
mm.
looking for a yellow card, or it could be in the middle of the ground, but you just want that foul because it eats up time. You want to be slow with the throw-ins, the kick-ins.
That's
You
that's
need like that part is not there. And I felt that's what was missing because I felt there was no. You
Pogba was
shouldn't have lost
getting
the game.
Pogba was getting a lot of stick from these boys that only watch the EPL. Do you understand? He was getting a lot of stick for doing stuff like that. They don't understand, bro. You frustrate them. Do you understand? Hold the ball, bro. Because immediately, as soon as Twanzebe attacked, I was like, he's gonna cause a foul, and it's not necessary. There's 10 other people behind you. Why are you fouling the guy? Do you understand? Don't foul him. Close him down. Do you understand? Close him down. Make it hard for him to pass you. And what are you doing there anyway? Do you understand? That's where Fred should be. Because Fred will
Yeah,
struggle with the guy. You understand? He will struggle. He's a fighter. He will struggle with the guy. And also Ole for putting in Twanzebe, a guy who has been lacking in confidence at such a poor. That was also an error in judgment. This boy, obviously we all hate racism. No to racism around. He's been struggling with a lot in the EPL with he makes mistakes. He gets racially abused. Do you understand? You don't put
yeah.
him in at such a time. Do you understand? You don't, because now you're opening him up. Do you understand? You're opening him up for such things. Because if he does make a mistake at that critical juncture of the match, he gets blamed. Do you understand? And now he's getting ready. You are killing the boy's game. Do you understand? How is he
At
supposed
the
to
end
pick
of the
himself
day,
up from? Do you understand? How is he supposed to pick himself? You don't put him in such a situation. Wait for whatever cup when you're playing against whatever ever rubbish team. Put him on the beginning of the match. Say, my boy, go. He's always throwing him in as a sub. I don't understand where do they like? Nothing pisses me off than this thing where he hoys on defenders. Stop putting defenders in a match, bro. Like stop it. Even at Leicester, we were winning. He hoys in an extra defender within Twanzebe.
mm.
Why is he doing that, bro? Like he keeps on doing. Stop doing that. Stop inviting pressure. You can't invite pressure, my guy. These are ball players. Do you understand? These guys are supposed to be serial killers. You got Bruno Fernandes, you got Marcus Rashford, you got Edison Cavani in the team, and you wanna go park the bus. Why are you parking
For,
the bus?
for
Do you
what,
understand?
really?
Let them come at you. Hold the ball in the middle. Let them come at you. Do you understand? And like you said, if once you hoy in a defender, automatically they thinking, okay, they're gonna sit back. They're allowing
Mhm.
us to hoy crosses into the box. That's the message that you're sending. We're gonna
And and,
sit
and
back.
and also for me, I mean, you've got like you say, you've got Rashford, you've got Bruno. Those guys are pacey. Those guys are for a counter, they're perfect. And so if you pack the midfield, you're betting your guns and saying, I'm going to stop them
Yes,
in the midfield. I'm going to win the ball in the midfield. And they're going to have committed players up front. And then I've
the
got these
midfield.
guys who
Yes.
can hit them on the break. And so, but now when you take that out,
Mm-hmm.
you're literally just inviting trouble. And that's what happened in 90 extra time.
That's
I mean,
exactly
injury
what
time,
happened, bro.
trouble came.
Dude, you know what I
It
mean?
always in a
And for
bottle.
me, it's not a secret that we can't defend set pieces. It's not a secret. That is not a secret. And immediately when I dude, like I literally stood up. I stood up when they gave them, and I was like, "Oh Lord, here comes trouble,"
It
because
was
we can't
trouble.
defend set pieces. Yeah, we can't defend set pieces, especially with a team with predators like um, Calvert-Lewin. You know, he's a predator. That he's always in the box. He's always looking to to make stuff happen. It's like we don't practice set pieces in training. Maguire leaves early. Why is he leaving early? He leaves early. He plays him onside, and then they're looking for the offside trap. Why isn't that boy being marked? He is literally
Yeah.
the biggest threat, aerial threat. He's got literally only him and Edison. Okay, now him and Edison Cavani. He has more. I think he's got two or one more headed goals than Edison Cavani in the EPL. Do you understand? Because that's like them at that's imagine if it was the shoe was on the other foot. We've got a free kick at that, and those guys leave Edison Cavani free. Would it make
Yeah.
sense? Ancelotti
It,
would
it,
be
it doesn't.
furious.
And for
You know,
me,
Ancelotti would be furious that
I'm, I'm all for zonal marking, but I think set pieces is one point where you literally, and it for me goes back to coaching. I mean, you have to sit back and say, guys, these are the threats. This is our best heading defender, so you're gonna mark the threat. Wherever he goes, you run.
hmm,
It's the old school football mentality we used to be given, where they say you don't mark spaces, you mark people. Because if a
you
space
mark
is there,
people.
there's no one there. It doesn't matter what space is
Yeah,
there.
it doesn't matter. Make
So
it difficult for them to get to the ball.
at the
That
end
guy
of the day,
literally just they kicked, he ran into the space and scored.
simple
No,
like that.
my guy, no resistance. No one saw him. As simple as that, Machi.
Yeah,
But anyway,
it happens. Um,
we'll see, man. We'll see. But
we'll see. Let's move on from that one. You said let's check out Chelsea's run. How they've improved.
Mhm.
Or well, for me, I don't think they've really improved. I think for me, they should have been
No, they
playing.
haven't.
No, they have, but I mean, it's like for me, I feel like with the team that they have, this should be a normal game for Chelsea. I mean, it's against Sheffield, so I mean, it's like only 2-1 with a penalty. But obviously, positive result. Um, it's a
Well,
little
yeah,
bit
three
of
points,
pressure,
man, and that's all that matters
you
at
know.
this juncture, especially with the position that they're in. They just want three
Mm,
points, just get the 3 points, keep it moving, get a run going. But with Chelsea, one thing I've noticed is that they always get ahead of themselves, and then once they face a serious challenge, that's when they collapse. Do you understand? So I think Tuchel is going to be very important for Tuchel to because they weren't really playing that well either yesterday. Do you understand? Against Sheffield, they weren't really playing. They weren't really dominating the game where you say that they're going to win it. They always look like they might concede at any time. Rudiger he was just hoofing the ball up whenever it came in, he just
mm.
hoof it up, hoof it up, hoof it up, hoof it up. Um, I think there's still a lot of work to be done, especially going forward with some of these strikers, man. Like they shooting blanks. Um, like they
I,
shooting a lot of
I
like
want to ask you a question on that. I mean, they're shooting blanks, and there's a lot of quality. Okay, well, supposed quality in the team. Is it the structure they're playing in? Is it like I'm trying to understand? Like, what is it? Because for me, it's very difficult. I'm like,
my
what
man.
what
Like
is the
honestly,
issue?
there is honestly there is no describing what's going on there, because at first the first consensus was that we need to give them time to adjust. That
Mm,
passed, and then it was like they're being played out of position, and I'm strictly referring to guys like Timo Werner, Pulisic. Timo Werner, Pulisic. I think he enjoys playing his football on the left. but he was being put out on the right to accommodate Werner playing on the left. So apparently that was the case. They were playing out of position. Werner needs to be played in the middle. Werner got a couple of games in the middle. Nothing really happened. Um, I for the kids' sake, and I'm gonna specifically focus on Timo Werner because he was brought in to bang them in. You understand? Because that's what he was doing at Leipzig. You know, he was honestly just banging them in for fun. And even in Germany, he's their number 9.
Yeah.
Bangs them in, goals are flowing. But I think it's just one of those unfortunate incidences with him where things is just not working out. He's on a dry spell. There was an opportunity for him to score. He dinked the keeper, but the defender was able to clear. Like it's just an unfortunate thing. You understand? And unfortunately, such things tend to sit on a striker's mind and affect his gameplay. Remember the way Fernando Torres came from Liverpool and how he was at Chelsea. Like he eventually did score there and there, but he was never the same. Do you understand? He was never the same. So hopefully it's not such a situation. And I think it's up to the managers, the technical staff, and everybody to work with him. Do you understand? Work with him. I don't know if they making him play through it is actually because with every game that goes past that he doesn't score, he loses a bit more confidence. You understand? These guys might do whatever the hell they want to do.
For me, I think I don't know how this analogy goes, but Timo Werner is not a number 9. He's a what we call, I don't know what they call in English. Marino Gokasi does the attacking 9 and the 9 that stays there. For me, he's an attacking 9, but he needs like a Juro to stay there. But like you must play them as a double 9 so that he's got somebody who gives him that space. Because I think now they're trying to play him as the target player, and he wasn't. And if you look at all his goals at Leipzig, he was running onto the ball, running into those passes, beating those. Not that he can beat people, but he's got the ability to make space in a split second.
And he's running off the ball is
top notch.
But
but now if he's your point of focal, then it becomes difficult for him to play because then the defenders know I just need to focus on him, and he's got this added pressure that he does have. And I don't know if I honestly feel guys like Timo Werner you need a Zidane kind of mentality with him, where you literally go back and say to him, listen, Timo, you're going to play the rest of the games, whether you're injured or not, whether you score or not, doesn't matter. And I'm never substituting you. Simply to get him to get his confidence back up, for him to know that regardless, let me try weird shit. Let me try the shot that I would confidently take, not because I've got pressure of, is this going to be my last game? Is it going to be too much? Because I think he needs that little bit of assurance to say, listen, we paid a lot of money for you. You're going to play. So forget about anything. Just play. Just be you.
And I think the other thing with Timo Werner is, when a striker is off form, it becomes harder for him if the guys around him are not scoring. Do you understand? Look for instance, look at Martial. Martial, he's been in he's been in terrible form. Do you understand? But the guys around him are scoring goals. Do you understand? So as much as he will get bantered and whatnot, he didn't have that added pressure that Timo Werner, because they're looking to Timo Werner for goals. With Martial, I mean, he scores, he doesn't score. Some games you just see that he's trying things. Look at the 2 goals he scored against Southampton. Like they were, those are dope ass goals, because that's him. He's gonna try things because he knows that if I don't pull this off, Cavani will score, Rashford will score, Bruno will score. So that's the problem that was going on Chelsea. That as much as he'll get bantered for not scoring and like, oh no, Martial this, Martial that, Martial this, he knows that it's not really from a pressure point that Martial needs to win us games. He's not that kind of player. He doesn't win us games. Do you understand? He's supposed to be scoring goals, but it's also a big debate. Is he a left winger? Is he a striker? Blah, blah, blah. I just think the boy is, honestly, he's a winger. He could play on both wings. He doesn't sit enough in the box for him to be a striker. Honestly, if you're being honest.
he literally needs to deputize for Rashford in my view, because Rashford's also
Yes,
okay effective when he's on the left. But now
he's on the
I
left.
hear what you're saying. So who do we blame? I mean, you look at the coach. He sets up a lineup of Giroud. You've got Timo Werner. He's playing with a four. Well, it's a four. It's a 4-3-3. It's a 3-4-4. He's got Timo. He's got Giroud. Giroud doesn't score. We all know that. The guy's gonna 15 goals maximum over 38 games if he's lucky. And that's if he plays all of those games. Mason Mount, not really known for goal scoring. Yeah, he'll get you one or two there. And then, I mean, the rest of it, the midfield's got
The guys are
Kovacic, you
not
got
scoring,
Jorginho,
bro. That's the
you got
thing.
James, you got
You
Chilwell.
know,
There's no goals coming anywhere.
Pulisic is not scoring. No, that's the thing. Nobody is scoring goals for them. So it's a big problem now. Um, that's why the pressure will go on Timo Werner, because now people are like, we bought you to bring in goals. Chelsea was scoring, were free scoring. They just couldn't defend last season, but they were scoring goals. They had goals from Pulisic, they had goals from Giroud, they had goals from Tammy Abraham, they had goals from who's that boy? Mason Mount. They had goals. Do you understand? Rudiger Zuma would head in a few. Do you understand? They had goals, but the problem is that now these guys, when they're not scoring, to cover up the mess that's going on, it will always be It'll always be difficult for Timo Werner. So to answer your question, who do we blame? We blame Frank Lampard, and I'm always gonna blame Frank Lampard, because I think if you're gonna if a manager, and not because I've got an agenda against Frank Lampard, I honestly think he should have stayed for 2 more seasons. But if a manager is gonna buy a player, you need to buy a player that you have a plan for. And it seems like he didn't have a plan for him. He was just buying players because he was given a budget. And they say the same with Kai Havertz. Don't buy players you don't have plans for. They didn't have a plan for Kai Havertz. The same goes for Hakim Ziyech. Why did Chelsea buy Hakim Ziyech? If I still need somebody to answer that question for me. Why did Chelsea buy Hakim Ziyech? There isn't really a reason why they bought Hakim Ziyech. They're just buying players because players are available. Do you understand? And that's why I blame
That's
Frank
the thing.
Lampard.
You know, for me, I don't mind the purchases they bought. The only problem for me is you buy these purchases and then you don't fit the football system around the players you've bought. I mean, Chelsea, the way the players that they've bought, they literally need to be a ball controlling team, a team that's got a lot of skill, it's got a lot of flair. And the problem with Chelsea, they are still stuck in Jose Mourinho's type of football. It's strong, it's hard, we attack, we go forward, we on the pound. And then if you look at it since then, the only time that kind of structure did change was under Carlo Ancelotti. But if you take all the managers that have come before that, you've got Mourinho. We know his type of play. You've got Andre Villas-Boas. He also plays the Mourinho kind of play. It's all structured. It's all of this. There's not that much flair. Then they moved over. They went to Conte. Conte was playing a 3-5-2 with packed midfield where it's quite structured. Not that many skillful players in the team. And then now you've went and bought a lot of ballers. And nobody knows what to do with a bunch of ballers.
They
It's
don't.
for me.
That's
For me, I think if Abramovich was serious about winning, I wouldn't have gotten for Tuchel. I would have went to an ex Ajax Amsterdam coach and said, "Come coach here," because he, with the players that are there, he would have known how to put in a structure for those players to all strive and play well, because that's the way they play. But
the
now you've
guy.
got a bunch of
The
players
guy
without
couldn't
a
crack
coach.
it. That guy couldn't crack it with a team with Neymar and Mbappe. So I'm not gonna talk about Tuchel. They can sing his praises all they want. I'm not these. I honestly don't have anything to talk about Tuchel. Um, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll just have to see. But for me, I'm not scared. It wasn't one of those things that they brought in Tuchel, and I was like, ooh. I was like, whatever, man. The guy couldn't crack it in a team with Neymar and I could literally go to PSG and coach them and they'd win the league. Do you understand? It's
So,
not
so,
really that
so,
deep.
so which
That
means,
is not an achievement.
this
It's
quote
not an
from
achievement
Trevor
for any coach.
which is this quote from Trevor that starts to make sense. It's just new manager energy, and they'll revert back to factory default.
Exactly. And even with this new manager, they're not winning convincingly. Do you understand? We're
Yeah,
not talking about a team that goes in there. excuse me, we're not talking about a team that goes in there, bangs in 4 goals, convincingly close. No, they struggle to win these matches. They are honestly clawing their way out to win these matches. And for a team that spent 250 quid over the transfer season, do you understand? They honestly should be, especially with the quality of players that they bought. Do you understand? They bought a lot of
Mhm.
quality. They bought ballers, right? Hakim Ziyech is a baller. Kai Havertz was probably since post Chelsea was probably one of the most exciting midfielders to watch in Germany. I watched a game where Kai Havertz was playing right in front of Joshua Kimmich. Kimmich was doing all the work for him. And his
Yeah.
job was just to go forward and make things happen. So when they bought Kai Havertz, I was scared. I was like, Lord, Kante is going to do the work for him, and Kai Havertz is going to kill the EPL. Do you understand? He's just going to be
Mhm.
there, stunting, flexing, doing what he does. But the boy is low on confidence, his shoulders shrugged. Even when he comes in, his head is down. Do you understand? So then you bring in a guy that couldn't get the best out of Neymar and Mbappe. He actually regressed Mbappe, if anything else. Let's talk about Mbappe's time under Tuchel. I think that was probably Mbappe's worst
Yeah,
time as a football player because
he literally lost
everybody.
his.
Yeah, you do understand. Let's talk about Mbappe's time under Tuchel. He was terrible, bro. He was terrible. He was just a pace merchant. He was just the guy that ran forward, ran forward, ran forward, ran forward. Immediately, and I knew that once Neymar gets injured, they're gonna fire Tuchel because the one creative person that's always willing to make things happen. Immediately after he got injured, everything went to dogs. Everything went to the dogs at PSG. So I'm not
Yeah.
really worried about Tuchel. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. For me, it doesn't matter. You're right. If they had went for who's that Nangelsmann, I would have obviously been more scared because he does a lot with less. Do you understand? He
Yeah,
knows how to
true.
motivate players. Yeah, he knows how to motivate players. He knows. So Tuchel, I'm not really worried about. But I think Chelsea will. I think they. I don't know. The thing with top four now is that it's so it is so difficult. Last season it was easy. We had two positions open and everybody was fighting for two positions. Do you understand? You already had Liverpool out of the situation. You already had City out of the equation. Do you understand? Now Liverpool have been thrown back into the top four fight. Tottenham are still in it. You understand? Leicester are
Yeah,
deep in it. And
and
you've
I
also
think for
got Man
me,
United. So
at
I
this
don't know.
point, at this point, I think the top four is being fought for by about 6 teams. Because
Mm,
even if you look at it, I mean Tottenham, yeah, is only 9 points off Leicester, but also
mm-hmm,
only then 7 points off number four, which is like 2 wins and a draw. And I mean there's still time.
mm-hmm.
There's still time. It's just a matter of whether
There's
it
still
will
a lot of
happen,
games, bro.
and then we'll see. So let's go to. I'm trying to buy time for these guys, but I don't think they'll come. So we'll just tap into that. But before we
Yeah,
do,
so let's just
um,
move on to it, yeah.
for me, nah, um, it goes back to what I said on the preview show that Man City managed to reinvent themselves. They managed to. And looking at the starting lineup, they literally played with no striker. I don't care what everybody says. Phil Foden is not a striker. For me, he's not. He's
Mm.
playing there, but he is
He's
not.
not a striker. No, no, no.
It was literally
But he's not a
four
striker.
defenders and 6 midfielders in the team. And yet they were going forward, they were
I
massive,
don't
they
know.
were
I think
killing it. And for me, Liverpool just, I think for the first 10, 15 minutes, they looked like they believed. And then they started just making stupid passes. And then you're like, guys. And then like now, and the one thing I saw was that one thing Liverpool have stopped doing, they stopped playing as a team. There's a lot of individual
Individuals.
moments. I mean, Mane, Salah, Fabinho, they would get into good positions, but there'd be
But
no
there's no link
open
up.
passes.
Yeah, there's no link
There's-
up play like they used to last season.
yeah, like they used to. So it's like now I'm asking myself, like, guys, you can't tell me because other than the defense, from midfield going up, other than there being Thiago, that's a typical Liverpool team. It was a typical Liverpool team for me at the end of the day. I didn't see that they were lacking who or whatever. It's just yeah. But now going forward, even that flow, that fluidity of Liverpool was just not there. And at Anfield, I was just like, okay, it's gonna be trouble because once Man City shifts up a gear, it's gonna be trouble.
The thing is, my thing is, and I wanted because I knew Khomotang was gonna tell us, oh, we've got players injured, blah blah blah. Okay, whatever, bruh. City had players injured last season. You guys didn't give a damn. You went on and you know what I mean, and you did your thing. But my thing with Liverpool is, them losing to City is not really a problem. I mean, because City are that good right now. Do you understand? So it's not a problem for me. It's like, yeah, well, they City, they on a high, and they'll win games. My problem with Liverpool right now is that if we go back to the fact that they're losing to Burnley, they're losing to West Brom Albion, they're losing to Southampton, they're losing to, do you understand? And they're losing to these teams 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 2-1. So never mind the defense. Why aren't they scoring goals? Do you understand? So that's the biggest problem I had. That's why I had zero faith that Liverpool would win. I hoped they would draw at least. Do you understand? Obviously, for log reasons, for the log standing reasons, I was hoping that they'll be able to draw. But that team is so disjointed right now that I've also noticed those guys, they barely look at each other. Mane, Salah, Firmino, they barely look at each other. Firmino,
That's
whenever
exactly
Firmino
what
has a
I'm saying.
ball in the box, he shoots. He doesn't link up play with anybody anymore. Do you understand? Whenever
Yeah.
Sadio Mane has the ball in the box, he shoots. Whenever that guy has the ball in the box, he shoots. Nobody is looking for anybody. So I don't know. Is there a problem in the dressing room that we are not being told about? Are the guys just not vibing anymore? Because like you'd watch Liverpool last season, like you wouldn't even know like between the three guys, you wouldn't even know who to mark. Now it's simple. Mark the guy with the ball because he's not gonna pass it. Trust me, like honestly, if you watch them play, mark the guy with the ball. He's not gonna pass anybody else. He's gonna try to go for goal.
That's why.
Like
Honestly, so it goes back to the question of, and we posted this last year, and Khomotang was like, it was just a misunderstanding. There was a fallout that happened last year between Mane and Salah not passing the ball, and we said it like, guys, what the hell? And now would the glue not have been that we have to win our first one in 30 years? You know, the glue would have been that. And now that that glue is broken, there's no
that itch
team
has
in
been
it anymore.
scratched, bro. That's the thing. They were and I still think that if City had they had didn't have so many injury problems, they wouldn't have won it the way they did. Whether whether Liverpool have won it or not, I'm not going to say they wouldn't have won it. But one thing I know is that City would have pushed them to that level, to that extreme. Do you understand? And my thing is that they not scoring goals. We could blame the defense thing all year. I would blame the defense thing if these guys were losing 4-3. Do you understand? If these guys were losing 2-3, 5-4. Do you understand? I would say that the defense is letting them down. But they're not scoring any goals.
But it goes back to what you said. It goes back to what you said, that those guys are not playing as a team. The front three is
they're not
too
playing as a team.
now.
Yes, they're not
just
scoring any goals
for themselves.
And I think Steve McManaman, he said it. He's like, we could sit here and speak about the defense all year, but the thing is that these guys are not scoring goals. So that's a big problem. Even if Van Dijk and whoever comes back, it does not matter. The problem is that those guys aren't scoring goals. What do they do about it? And then this is for me where Klopp probably made one of the biggest rookie mistakes I've ever seen a coach of his caliber makes. You are playing against City. You are losing 2-1 against City. Your first instinct tells you to take out your two most creative players in the midfield. And you put in Jordan, Shaqiri, and James. Somebody needs to honestly wake me up. Like, how do you take out the guy that can make things happen for you? And Curtis Jones, he's been exciting. Do you understand? Going forward, he's been exciting. He makes things happen. You take them out. You put in Shaqiri. What is Shaqiri supposed to do? Like, I don't understand what's Klopp's fixation with Shaqiri. What is Shaqiri? What did he see? What did Shaqiri? Maybe I missed that day when Shaqiri did something that really won Klopp's heart. What did Shaqiri do?
That's the thing.
Maybe
is that last year he was not playing Shaqiri when they're topping the table and destroying
He was
everyone,
not.
and
So
and
why
then
is
he
he
wants
playing him now?
and then he wants to come play him now in
Why is he playing him now?
like for me,
Why
I
is
don't
he playing him
understand.
now, bro? It doesn't make sense. And for me, these guys have got I forgot what this kid's name is. Net something. Net whatever his name. He's a central defender. Why are you playing Henderson in the defense? Why don't you play that Net? And he's not one of the he's not one of the new guys. He's not one of the new guys that just recently came. He's a guy that's been there. Fabinho, I understand why you put Fabinho in. He had a terrible match. But that's Fabinho. Fabinho is one of those guys. He's like Fernandinho. You never know what you're gonna get. To understand? You've got days where they'll be brilliant playing as a centre back, and you've got days where they just behave like a CDM in a centre back, where they want to make tactical challenges in the box. You can't make tactical challenges in the box. It's gonna result in penalties, and you know what I mean, losing the ball. You can't do that. Not in the box. It's like saying Pogba must go play centre back. He can't do that. He can't. Or he's clumsy. These guys are clumsy. Do you understand? They're clumsy. They do weird things. Or Matic. It's like saying to Matic, Matic has this thing of pulling players back. Do you understand? And it's in him because why? He's a CDM. He needs to make technical fouls. Do you understand? In order to slow the game down. Yeah, to slow the game down. So Fabinho has moments where he does that. He would leave a trailing leg. Do you understand? Leave it. And if you're gonna do stuff like that in the box, you're gonna get punished. You understand what I'm saying?
True.
So my thing is, why isn't he playing the defenders? Sometimes these coaches want to be called geniuses so bad. They risk doing the easy stuff and try to do the impossible stuff so that if it comes off, he'd be called a genius. It does not make sense. Why is Henderson playing? Why is Henderson playing centre back? It does not make any damn sense. You bought two midfield. You bought two defenders. These guys have been playing where they are. This is not the time for you to say that they're not ready. When will they be ready? When you guys are number 8? When Virgil van Dijk is back?
At the end of the day, when will they be ready?
To patch a hole. There was a hole. It's like buying a spare wheel, né? Buying a spare wheel for your car and you carry on driving the flat car, the flat tire, and say that no, this spare wheel is not ready to go. It does not make sense. You have a crisis. The crisis is that your CDMs, your centre backs are injured. You take these guys and you throw them in. Why did you buy them? Are you gonna? Did you buy them for when they so that they can
put in
replace
one?
Van Dijk?
Put in one of the
put
two,
in one,
not
bro.
all of them. At least
put in one, my guy. Do you understand? And they had the whole week to prep these guys for this match. Do you understand? You can't take out Henderson is a cow. I'm not afraid of Liverpool guys. They can come in. Henderson is a cow, but there's something that he brings to that Liverpool side that a lot of people can't do in the middle field. Do you understand? He's like he knows how to bring the best out of them. You know what I mean? Tells them when to push forward, when to push back. And I think he's the fact that he's missing behind those front three up there. The fact that he's missing, he's not that close to them. He can't he can't marshal them and say that guys look for each other, pass each other. Do you understand? Thiago's not gonna do that. He's got no business telling anybody what to do. Do you understand?
Shaqiri's not going to do that. English.
I don't know. Wijnaldum is on his way to Barca. I don't think he cares anymore. Do you understand? He's on his way to Barca.
So Trev is confirming what we're saying, that the restriction between that front three and Klopp is just not willing to address it or whatever. Or like
they're hiding it, bro. They're hiding it. They want to make it seem like it's not there. It's there. We can all see that those guys are not vibing the way they are. The day players won't just change like that in a season. Do you understand? They can't go from being probably the most dynamic front three in the world to being what the hell they are right now, which is 3 individual players.
Which is quite true. So let me put on this to you. My biggest takeout from the game. Obviously, everybody is crying about Phil Foden. Yeah, it was one heck of a goal. I'm not gonna lie. Just from technique and everything. But for me, I go back and I say, as much as I hate saying this, I need to give Pep his props, because I was looking at Phil Foden. I'm like, he's not that good. Like even when he was growing with his potential and everything, how he turned out or how he's turning out goes back to the genius of what Pep can do with a player. If that player listens to what Pep says. Because I go back to
Exactly,
the
bro.
days, I go back to the days of Barca, and I look at Pedro. Pedro, when he came to Chelsea, he's not the Pedro that he was when he was at Barcelona. You look at everyone, you're Jenny Alves. You look at what he done with Jordi Alba. You look at there's so many players where you
Sergio Busquets,
literally
bro.
could see, like Sergio Busquets is a non-starter in the guy
In
left.
bro, I also don't understand, bro. That guy, I kept on saying that guy doesn't start in a lot of teams in the world, but then that Barca team, he's perfect, and it's because of the confidence that, like Pep. One thing that Pep brings to the boys is that he believes in his players so much that he hypes them. Do you understand what I'm saying? He hypes them, and if you're not
Mm,
good enough, Pep is not one of those guys that's gonna hide it from you. He's gonna tell you that you're not good enough. You're not gonna start. Do you understand? He will never
yeah.
hide anything. He's not the type of guy to hide things and try to make things. When his players don't play well, he says that we didn't play well. We don't play. You know what I mean? We didn't.
Mm,
We didn't. We don't play. We didn't play well enough. And another thing that just Trevor just pointed out, this guy literally every youth player that came in, he shipped them off on loan. Do you understand? Like
yeah.
Brewster, there was that other one with the ponytail. I forgot what his name is.
That Elliot
He
Lighty,
was
that Elliot.
that Elliot Lighty, and now Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones was basically carrying Alexander Arnold until he came off. Alexander Arnold is the I still don't know why Klopp is in denial that that guy's not a defender. Alexander Trent Alexander Arnold is not a defender. He is
Yo, bro.
he is
Sterling was running
the
rings
worst
around him.
dude. He is the worst. Like I don't care. Like I don't give a rat's ass how many assists he has. But he needs if it doesn't matter if you're a defender, you've got 15 assists, but you're not doing your job at the back. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you're not doing your job at the back, then it doesn't. Play him as a right middle then. Play him as a right middle, right winger. I don't give a rat's ass what it is, but the boy is not a defender. Like Sterling was having the time of his life, bro. Sterling was taking out all the frustrations from guys like Wan Bissaka that have been giving him hell. He was taking them out on Trent Alexander-Arnold, and that kid Curtis Jones kept on wiping after him, bro. There was a time where Sterling just where Phil Foden just sold Phil Foden literally sold Trent Alexander. He went to the shops, and Curtis Jones had to come back and cover him. And you take
Yeah.
that guy out and you put in Shaqiri.
I was
Please,
impressed with I
like,
was impressed with that Curtis Jones. Like it was actually the first time I saw him play. I was
dude,
like,
he is such
damn,
a baller. That boy is
damn.
such a ball. He's intelligent. He's got a level head. He knows when to push up. He knows when to sit back. He makes intelligent runs. He looks for people. Do you understand what I'm saying? But he gets taken out and Shaqiri gets put in. You know, like such things, bro. Like such
Like
things
what's the
make
future
make
gonna
you think
offer
that
him?
as like as much as we've all hailed Klopp, I am starting to honestly doubt him. I'm honestly starting to doubt if he is the genius that we all thought he is. Do you understand what I'm saying? To a point that if you're a manager and you've got a starting 11, a genius manager would make sure that all his patches have been covered. Do you understand? We not basics, bro. Basics. A genius manager will make sure that all his bases are covered. Like, why are you set in a way? Because he is so stagnant about this style of play, and it's not working out. It is
Do you
not
know?
working out, but
Do you
he's
know? Do you
sticking to
know?
it.
It goes back to the point that I said last week to say that there's a lot that lacks in terms of it's all good. You could be good when things are winning. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We won 3 Champions League in a row, but to be honest, there was no structure. There was nothing. It was simple. You know the starting 11, and Ronaldo's going to bag in the goals. And these guys are big team players. They're big players. They know what they're supposed to do. But there
Mm.
was nothing to say, I'm going to change. If I'm playing against this specific team, I'm going to change the dynamics. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And if you look at Liverpool last year, or even the year before for me is a good reference point, was that they were supposed to win that league. The only reason they failed was that they couldn't change things around when teams were able to defend against them, or they were not able to penetrate. Then there was
Mm.
nothing that they could change, and that game would fizzle out in a draw or would fizzle out in a loss. And last year, all that happened was just everybody else crumbled. everybody played Liverpool and they crumbled,
Yes.
and they got such a big league. And because there wasn't that pressure from Man City, they managed to kill everything. You know what I mean? But now what's tending to happen is that they're not getting the luck they got last year, where every team crumbles. Some teams are not crumbling, and because they're not crumbling,
They're not.
Klopp is not changing now.
The
He's
fear
not
is gone.
changing
The
anything.
fear factor. Yeah.
He's like,
The fear factor is gone.
you know, and now he's like not doing anything. It's like, whoa, damn, I can't change things around. Like, and it's killing him. I mean, you had
Bro,
Ox Chamberlain on the field. Like, how do you put in, like you say, you've got Ox Chamberlain on the field. You're taking out Curtis, you put in Shaqiri. Why when you've got Ox Chamberlain? Because he's gonna give you the attack that kid's been giving you, and you're trying to chase the game.
Same, yeah.
You're trying to chase the game, but you're taking out a baller. You're putting in like Milner. Like for what point? Like for me, it goes by saying it's like some of the things that happened last year was just winging it, and it worked, and it worked out. And now winging is not working, and now he's struggling to then say, "Oh shit, I gotta go back to the drawing board." And people can't tell me that it's because Henderson's not the midfield. What was Henderson offering?
I
Because
think you
all
summed it
Henderson
up
was
when you
doing
said
was passing to the next guy, the closest guy to me who's open. That's all I'm passing, and then I'm just gonna mark for the rest of the game. That's all he did. And there's 10 players you could do. You could get that from.
my man. I think you summed it up when you said that it's easy.
Shush just got cut out. So, but while we're waiting for him to come back, Trev, I know Trev is watching with the viewers, and I see the Tohonala they're also there with us. So while we're waiting for Shush,
A real death. You will dying because of football.
yeah, we just play that just to make sure that we get back while Shush was logging back on. He's back now.
So the thing is that I think you summed it up when you said that it's easy to be held the best when everything is going well. Do you understand? And I think the best managers in the world, and the best, I think the people that actually end up cracking it is that the guys who survive the adversity. Do you understand? And I think Pep's Man City didn't get enough praise last season. Do you understand? I mean, they went through a lot, but they somehow managed to, end up second. You understand? End up second and just keep it together, even though everything was going. So I think that's what's gonna be required of Jurgen this season. Is that, yes, we know you in the blah 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 is injured, blah blah whatever. We all know that, but what are you gonna do now? Do you understand? What are you gonna do? Your team is in trouble. Your team is in trouble. They need a leader, and you are the leader. So what happens now? I think that's the biggest thing now, and the way he responds to this is probably going to determine his legacy as a coach in the EPL. And he needs to stop. He needs to stop this thing of attacking journalists every time they ask him questions about where his team is, and that frustration, all that stuff. All that stuff is not going to make you a better coach, man. Just focus on the job at hand. If you're not getting backing from the board, then leave. You understand? Leave. Don't sit in a job whereby you're not getting backing from the board. But if you are getting exactly what you want from the board, and say that you're happy, because he's out there saying that he's happy at Liverpool and blah 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 blah, then he needs to honestly, because a team can't go from being that good to this bad. And I'm not just talking about the defense. I'm also talking about the goals in general. Do you understand? Because like I said,
it's something I said to G last year. We were arguing, and he was like, "No, Klopp's gonna be there forever." And I was like, "Dude, Klopp is out in 3 years." And he was like, "No, he's signed for 5 years. He's gonna be there. Blah blah blah. He always sees out his contracts." And I told him, I'm like, "Dude, he left Dortmund, and unfortunately, and I want to say this now on record so that it could be recorded. Klopp, what people don't understand with Klopp is a crybaby. I'll honestly say that to you. And the reason why I say that,
he's a big crybaby.
And he's very competitive. And the minute things don't go his way, he's gonna leave. He can't come with the excuse that the board is not backing him, because the board didn't really back him. He hasn't bought any player above 50K, 50 million. He hasn't done, except for Van Dijk. But even then, that's one player in 3 seasons. So the board is giving him what they've given him to achieve all of the success he's achieved. So what now? What complaint is it now? He did the same thing at Dortmund. Dortmund told him, bro, a small team or a selling team, we're going to give you have to find stars out of deep search in Africa and stuff and build them up and make them stars, and we're going to sell them. And when they were doing that, he left because this team's got no ambition and not whatnot. You're not going to get to teams where you always get every single player you want. And he's shown that he's a crybaby. He's shown it with the few results that go against him. He's cried about refereeing. He's cried about this.
Yeah,
he's cried about
it's always
something.
it's always somebody else's fault. It's always, if it was Manchester United, if it was Manchester City, it's always like he's so annoying. Like I honestly don't watch clubs post match interviews because I know he's gonna be negative and he's gonna be negative and he's gonna be he's gonna talk nonsense about something else, stuff that's got nothing to do with nothing. Like a journal literally asked him, bro, why, what is it that you're gonna do now that you are 10 points behind City and they've got a game in hand? And he blew it. You need to prepare, you need to do a better job. I was like, my guy, that was not necessary. Just say that I don't know. If you don't want to answer the guy, just say no comment. Please ask me another question. Do you understand? Even though you're attacking the poor guy for asking you.
Pull up or read, just say I prefer not to speak, or just don't come beat on. But Shush, as we wrap it up, we cannot wrap up this week without talking about Mike Dean, man. Mike Dean, your favorite EPL referee.
How the hell is Mike Dean my favorite EPL referee? That guy's a terrorist with a whistle, bro. That guy literally went and he literally went to that little screen on the side of the pitch, saw that this guy was moving and hit the other guy, and said to himself that, you know what, this is a red card. Like, he literally watched what we saw. He saw the same thing that he saw the same thing that everybody saw, and still came on and said, you know what, I'm red carding you, my boy. Here we go. I'm red carding you, my boy. Here's your red card. Go. Like Mike Dean, bro. Like guys like Mike Dean, honestly. Like guys like Mike Dean, I feel like they've ran a race and it's time for them to leave. And the EPL milks refs.
For me, also, I ask myself is do referees understand why they are on the field? I think a lot of them misunderstand the significance of that. Is that, first of all, I'm here to make the game very fair. And that's for me point number one. So being fair is not issuing yellow cards and red cards and being strict and saying, hey, you're not going to play like that, but is managing the game. I mean, this is football. People are going to do funny things. People are going to die. People are going to do, there's going to be dirty plays. There's going to be everything. What you're trying to do is, dude, I need to get through to the 90 minutes as fair as possible so that the fans can see football, Some players are going to do stupid things. Is it enough to warrant me throwing the guy out? No. Is it enough me giving... And for me, Mike Dean, he's out there just to... I think Mike Dean's got issues, like serious issues, and he just goes out to feel like, this is my punching bag. This is where I take out my stuff.
Hence, I'm saying that guy is a terrorist with a whistle, bro. That guy's a terrorist with a whistle. I think every team in the EPL right now, once they see Mike Dean on that refereeing list as the guy in the middle, they all just have a headache. You understand what I mean? Because that's how terrible it is. And I think the FA needs to do something about it. Honestly, FA needs to do something. I see Trevor's calling us with a better...
Yeah, and for me, just one thing also about Mike Dean is, if Mike Dean was in any other European league, I'd understand. This was the EPL, the most roughest, toughest league in the whole world, where they had to do a campaign for no pushing, no shoving in the box because it was happening so much. And then you want to dish out red cards like crazy for tackles, for everything in the damn EPL, where I mean, you had Keane playing in the team,
It's
kicking out
physical, bro.
everyone.
It's
It's
physical,
the
bro.
most physical league in the world,
It's
and
a
you want to
physical,
dish out.
yeah. It's physical, bro.
But
Oh,
I
my
guess
man,
it's no
McGinn actually
news,
gives
bro.
me anxiety. Yeah. So anyway, guys, that's it from us, man. Oh, unfortunately, we couldn't have the Liverpool and the City guys, yeah, man, on the show. It's very unfortunate. Hopefully, we can get them just for just a catch up session tomorrow. We'll see what we can do. No promises there. Just even if it's a 30-minute catch up session with the guys, so that they can just give us their views, on the match. It won't really be about. You won't really hear anything from me and K Matt. Just the two guys, giving us their 2 cents. Obviously, as a City fan and as a Liverpool fan, you understand?
Hey, yo,
I'm
I still
sure
have
they both.
banter. I still have banter for Liverpool, bro. I don't care if Khumuzan comes back in 6 months or
Okay,
whatnot.
you
I'm
won't
gonna
hear a lot
smash
from
you.
me, but you like for me, honestly, I won't banter them because I didn't expect them to win anyway. So anyway,
Yeah,
I didn't
but
expect them to win
nobody
anyway.
expected
But
a
I still want to
4-1.
hear. I still want to hear
And I
from
mean,
from probably one of the
if
most one. I still want to hear from probably one of the most passionate Liverpool supporters I know, which is G. He's like I know a lot of Liverpool supporters, and I know a lot of them love their team, but like the passion that G brings, like G will even protect Allison, and I need to ask him what he thinks about Allison and what the hell was going on. Like, you know what I mean?
yo,
And I want to hear
Allison,
Tepang because I know Tepang is he likes going in for those jagular cuts. So it'll be a very interesting conversation, just but just to obviously wrap up this conversation because it was quite a big game, a high profile match, and it ended in tears, bro. That was terrible. For me, at some point, and trust me, I'm a Man United fan. I hate Scousers, but for me, at some point, I felt sorry for them, bro. I was like, City, come on, let them breathe, give them room to go to ICU, but City weren't having it, so. Anyway, I'm just gonna read a couple of comments here. We've got from a guy called Twan Slayer. He's so Twan says that okay, Twan doesn't really say anything that has anything to do with anything. He's telling us that we need to invite Tepo Masia, which is a Liverpool fan, but he's a crybaby, so no, thank you.
he says we need to
And then
invite him.
Trevor Tepo Masia, he's a Liverpool fan, but yeah, he won't. He's a big baby.
Is
Um,
it?
so Trevor says my problem is how the FA protects officials even when they are wrong. I can't understand one wrong. I can understand one wrong, but Mike was at it with Southampton, with Bednarek, then came West Ham. Do you understand? So it goes back to our original point, man, that the FA needs to do something. And Trevor's 100% right. These guys have a huge impact on the game. They make stupid decisions and then they get away with it. I feel like they need to be fined. I think like Mike Dean needs to be fined for that because he needs to be called to the book that what made him think that that was a red card offense. Even with Bednarek, what why is he making these decisions? Do you understand? Because an investigation needs to be launched. They can't just say that, yeah, well, they're human, they make mistakes. These mistakes cost teams points. You know what I mean? People lose their jobs over these mistakes that the refs are busy making. But anyway, as I said, man, we'll try get the two guys just for a spicy 30-minute conversation, Yana. Okay, somebody is joining. Okay, now.
That's me. I
So
just
Khomotang,
this was his tweet
so we're
today. This
gonna
is how he got here.
the day after Liverpool loses at work, I am productive as if I avoid all social media, I avoid colleagues, I bury myself in work. Football will hurt you. It will hurt you.
And as we sign out,
Guys,
this is our sign out song.
Football can kill you. Will kill you a real death. You will die because of football.
anyway, guys, that's from us, the Couch Pundies, man. Thank you for checking us out. Give us that like. You know what I mean. Spread the word, man. Retweet, invite
Yeah, share,
people,
subscribe, tell
tell
people
anybody
about
that you feel that needs to be on. Yeah, we out here, man. We honestly
yeah,
we'd accommodate anybody. We even have a city guy. Do you understand? Not a lot of talk shows and football shows and talk shows in South Africa have city fans. We have a city guy. We have a Liverpool guy, United guy. Got our boy all the way there in Spain from Madrid. So anybody that's interested in speaking football, you don't really need to support. It's not about supporting the EPL, but you obviously need to be able. You need to watch it because that's
yeah.
the core of our show. It is the EPL. But if you want us to talk about something that's happening in Spain in La
Champions
Liga,
League's
we
coming
here
back,
for it.
by the way.
Champions League is obviously coming back, so it opens up a lot of room for us to speak about a lot of other leagues, a lot of other teams playing all over the world. So yeah, man, that's it from us, man. So thank you, man.
Peace. Guys, also just on the rail, if you guys want to be on the show, man, follow us on our Couch Pundies on Twitter. Just let us know. We normally post when we're going to be on the show. If you want to, this is a free platform, guys. We're not doing it for money. We're not doing it for anything. We don't have cloud chasers. If you want to be on the show, we don't care. Just hit us up and we'll give you the link and you can be on the show. Peace.
Definitely, man. We'll just hit us up on. We'll obviously be saying that when we do the shows. But if you if you honestly just want to be on the show and just come say your piece, maybe you don't like something I say, you don't like some Trevor in the comments said something that K Mag said. We don't really we guys, we don't care. If you've got a opposing view, come. We're not scared. We won't run from your opposing views. You understand? We honestly will give you a platform for you to say your piece. We will trash you if it's time to trash you, but we'll also give you the props when it's time to prop you, man. So give us a shout, man, and we'll definitely send you the link, and then you can join us. These shows are live now, just to make it more interesting, more edgy. Because when we had to record shows, we'd record a show today, it would release the next day, so it loses its edge. So with obviously the live shows, we can hit. And even if you guys want us to go straight after a match, we're here for it. To understand, we're here
Yeah.
for it. Just let us know in time that you want to jump on post match something, and then we here for it, man. That's why we did it live. It just gives us that convenience to obviously hit while the iron's hot. So with
Peace.
that said, man, that's it from us. Peace, man. Deuces, man. Thank you for tuning in. We out.